everybody. Okay, so for me today, it's April Fool's Day. Um, but you won't get this till next week. So I was thought about doing an April Fool's joke, but it wasn't happening. And I never actually got to change clothes from my workout clothes today, so I just like threw my hair in a ponytail, put some makeup on, and you get what you get today, right? At least I have good shoulders, right? From working out and stuff. So, God, those make my shoulders kind of look like a man. Anyway, broad shoulders. So, we just celebrated Easter. And I know last week I talked about what I was going to present at the jail with the kids. So I wanted to fill you in. I freaking killed it. I nailed it. I was so proud of myself. I did so good. Like, once I got in there and I was like in that element, I just knew it, right? And Kelly was there, and Scott was there, and Kelly, like the three of us, we totally had teamwork. We bounced off each other, we worked off each other, and it was so good. It was so good. But once I got in there and started really just paying attention and reading the stuff, I was like, oh, I remember this, and oh, I remember this, and okay, I can do this. And now I'm like, I can do this. I got this, right? So we had pizza and stuff for the kids, and I discovered a really, 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 really bad thing. Um, I don't even remember. I can't remember the name of them to save my life, but they're these little, I think they call them power cuffs. Power cuffs. Danny's gonna crack up. What are power cuffs? um, they are like, I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. They're little muffins of pizza. Like, they make them in these little muffin tins, and maybe they call them power cups or something. I don't know. Anyway, but it's four of them for $3.99. So I picked up a couple of them for Kelly and I to just kind of have a snack on the way to the jail, because sometimes it's really hard smelling all that food that I don't normally eat. And like smelling pizza. Pizza's a hard one for me. Like, I didn't want to go in there and eat a bunch of pizza. So these little cups were perfect. It was like four of them for $3.99. And I'm not making any advertising money off of Little Caesars here, but these were so damn good. It was like literally like their Italian bread, and the seasoning in a little muffin tin with some pepperoni and some cheese and a little bit of sauce and some cheese on top, and melted crispy and golden with drizzled with garlic butter sauce. I mean, it was the shit. They were so good that I got them again the next night. So dangerous, right? I got them again the next night. But I had worked out hard that day. I had put in the effort, and I ate those, and knowing that I was going to eat those, I was kind of careful about what I ate the rest of the day. And I got home, like the scale hadn't moved in like a week. I got home and went to bed the next morning. I got up and I was down a freaking pound. I was like, what the what? Like, I do really, really good and I don't lose anything, and then I eat Little Caesars and I lose a pound. I mean, what the heck? Our bodies are just nuts crazy. And I think what I've been doing is just too much. Like, I've been working out too much and not eating enough. This GLPX really curbs my appetite. So I have to make myself eat a lot of times, which is a little frustrating. So anyway, I did really well at the jail. Kelly did really well at the jail. Scott did really well at the jail. And I have to say this because Kelly's my best friend, and if she ever listens to this, which is probably not going to happen, but most of the time she's right on a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to book smart, nursing, Bible, anything like that, right? She's my go-to. And so we were talking about how many pieces of silver that Judas got to what's the word I'm looking for? Why can't I to betray Jesus, right? How many pieces of silver? And Kelly's like, it's 15. I was like, no, I think it's 30. I think it was 30 pieces of silver. And I look over at Scott and I was like, what do you think? And he's like, I'm pretty sure it was 30. And I was like, oh yeah. And then we looked later. I was like, yeah, it was totally 30 pieces of silver. So I was right. She was wrong. We've been besties since we were 15. So I can totally say that. And she won't get offended and she'll think it's pretty funny. Check mark for Allison, right? So Easter Sunday, we had the kids over and my mom, and Toothless was here, and Mau Mau was hanging out on the patio with us. So be sure to go check out my Facebook for our Easter pictures because it was really fun. We actually, so one of the things we've always done is hidden a golden egg in the house with money in it, right? And so we let the kids know while we were eating, and Danny was like, they're not going to want to do that. I was like, oh, a couple of them will, I guarantee you. And so we're eating, and I let the kids know. I was like, hey, by the way, speaking of golden eggs, we have one hidden in the house. It's downstairs, it's not outside, and it's not in any of the bedrooms. So immediately, like, these kids are 20, 21, and 24 years old, right? And immediately, oh, and Braden's 23. So 20, 21, 23, 24. These kids start looking around, like you can see their eyes cutting, like they're cutting their eyes, trying to look around the rooms and stuff while we're finished eating. And I shouldn't have said anything until everyone was done eating, right? And I thought Danny had the best hiding place ever, like the best hiding place. And I'll be damned if Gage didn't. I mean, it just killed it. It killed all the fun, because he found it in like 4.5 seconds. Like, what are even the chances that he would find it that fast? So he won, and it was like a major disappointment to the rest of the boys. But it was funny because one of the first places Colin looked, because he came down to hang out with us. One of the first places he looked was under the couch cushions, because when they were little, the first time we ever hid a golden egg was under the couch cushion in our old house. And so it was funny that that's like the first place he went to. I mean, it was so great. And I was like, see, I told you, Danny, like I told you they would want to do this. I mean, if you put money in an egg, right? It's only $20, but still $20 is $20. And so it was great. It was great to see them like competitive. I wish it would have lasted a little longer. I wish maybe we would have done it a little different, but had I done it Danny's way, he wanted to hide it like in a pile of dirt outside. I'm like, everybody's dressed nice. They're not going to go digging through the dirt, right? Um, anyway, it was fun. It was a good Easter Sunday, and it was good to spend time with family. We were still missing some, but we made the best of it for sure. On Thursday, we actually got the pool cover off, and that was great. But at the same time, it sucked because our pool little scooter broke. It just pooped out. Like those things aren't worth, like, you can't get a couple of years out of them, even if you take really good care of them. And we've taken really good care of this one. So it broke. We've got another one ordered. Danny did his best to get as much vacuumed out of the pool, but there's still a whole lot to be filtered out. And with all the construction in the neighborhood, it is a nightmare. Like, I want to call the city and be like, hey, can you pay for our pool to be cleaned from this mess that you've created in our neighborhood? It's unbelievable. You can also go check out the pictures on my Facebook if um, you know, if you're curious to see what it looked like. My Facebook's Allison Judd Damscove. I don't know if you know that or not. Um, so anyway, those are the kind of the current events of today, of this last week. And I just realized that one of my lights is turned completely the wrong way. Wonder if that makes a difference. Can y'all see? Did that make a difference? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe a little bit. Anyway. Oh, and I forgot another light. Gosh, I'm just on top of it today. So let's talk about what we've been talking about, 19 hard things I do to be successful. We're on number 10, so I'm going to go through and kind of give you a recap. I make the call I'm afraid to make. I get up earlier than I want to get up. I give more than I get in return right away. I care more about others than they care about me. I fight when I'm already injured, bloody, and sore. I feel unsure and insecure when playing it safe seems smarter. I lead when no one else is following me yet. I invest in myself even though no one else is. I look like a fool while I'm looking for answers I don't have. And it's so interesting how this turned out. The one we did last week, it published today, and it was talking about looking like a fool on April Fool's Day. I thought that was so ironic how that worked out. And then I grind out the details when it's easier to shrug them off. That's what we're on now, number 10. I grind out the details when it's easier to shrug them off. Can I tell you something? I can't tell you how many days I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do Teamsy. I don't want to send these messages. Don't really want to talk to anybody today. But I do it anyway. I grind out the details when it's easier to shrug it off. It would be so much easier just to shrug it off, go do what I want to do, go shopping with my kids or lay out in the pool or all those things, right? It's so much easier to just shrug it off, but I don't. And the reason I don't is because if I shrug it off, I'm not ever going to build a business, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things, right? Is I don't know, this might come across crazy a little bit, but just effing do it. Just get up and get it done, right? Make it a priority. Make it one of the first things you do. Nobody wants to change a shitty diaper, right? When you have a baby, nobody wants to clean up throw up. Nobody wants to change a shitty diaper. No one wants to listen to a screaming baby, but we do it. We do it because that baby is a priority to us. And we made a commitment to take care of that baby, right? If you would treat your business the same way as a non-negotiable every day, like if you had a brick and mortar business, you wouldn't just get to go, oh, I don't feel like going in today, right? Because you have people depending on you. You have employees depending on you, and you know, merchandise and all the things you bought, you depend on those things to sell. Well, this is the same thing. There's people depending on you. You signed them up. You took their money. You took the money for their commissions. You better freaking take care of them, because if you don't, that's just crappy. That's lazy. And that's not right. And that's why salespeople get a bad rap, is people that just don't take care of their stuff. Listen, we all got things happening. We all have life happening. And if life gets in the way too much, then get up 30 minutes earlier or stay up 30 minutes later. But if you get up 30 minutes earlier and get this done, like I can pretty much knock out most of my Teamsy if I have a solid hour of uninterrupted work time. I can pretty much get all of it done, and then the rest of it is cake on top. Like the rest of what I do the rest of the day and answering people that are responding to when I reached out, like that's just the icing on top of the cake. But I get it. There's some things in life that are not as easy as what we do, right? Some people just sell people a product and move on, right? And if that's the kind of salesperson you want to be, then go be with a different company, because that's not what this is about. This is about helping people and growing with these people and being on the journey with these people. I'm telling you what, if my coach had not stuck with me, if she had not stuck with me and continued to encourage me and continued to reach out to me, I would have never, ever made it through it. She was, I mean, the community that was here and the coach that I had, like, it was incredible. And she had a coach that in the very beginning was super helpful with all of this. But she ended up falling off. I think she does it every once in a while, but that's the thing. You don't just get me as a coach or that person, you get that community, right? But yeah, if you're in this just to sell something to somebody, please go to another company, because I just don't think that's what this is about. And that's not where people come back to. And that's not where people refer people to, right? I mean, just take care of the people. Why is it that hard? Maybe you don't watch TV that night, or one night because you have people to take care of. I mean, what's so bad about that? And I think that one of the most interesting things of this, I grind out the details when it's easier to shrug them off. I think one of the things about this too is you have to flip the script. Okay? I mean, what if instead of saying, "Gosh, I hate doing laundry," what if you said, "I am so grateful that I have laundry to do. I'm so grateful that I have clothes, enough clothes that it creates a whole load of laundry for me to do each week because that means that I'm fortunate. I hate washing dishes. I'm so grateful that I have dishes to wash. Some people don't have dishes, y'all. I don't feel like working my business today. Oh my gosh. I have a business to work today. I have people that I can help. I have people that want my help. I can make a difference in this world. Do you see the difference in that? Do you see the difference in flipping that script so that it's not something that you have to do, it's something that you get to do? I mean, y'all, I don't have to run the rat race. I don't have to I don't have to go to work every day and get in traffic and worry about what time I can take lunch and who's off that day that I need to cover for and oh, one of my kids has something so I got to take off work, but I can't afford to lose the pay and I don't have any vacation time so I've got to make up the time. I don't have to do that anymore. And that seems so much harder to me than this because here's the thing. Do I work harder than I ever have? Yes, because I love this and I'm passionate about it. And most of the time it doesn't feel like work because I love it, right? My work is my hope. But I remember the days when I had worked in an office. This is gonna squirrel a minute because I have a story to tell. I have a boss. I had a boss. And I'll even tell you who he is because he's such a douchebag. His name was Tom McLemore, and he was with ETTL Engineers here in Tyler. Horrible human being. One of the worst human beings I've ever ran across in my life. I've never had a boss tell me that I was stupid. Like, he hated women, and yet the bosses put him in charge of all the women in the office, all of the administrative assistants. And when I tell you this man hated women, like he was like a full-blown like severe alcoholic. I think he'd had like 3 DWIs and he absolutely hated women. I used to throw up on my way to work every day. And because I would be so sick. I was a single mom still. Danny and I were just starting, had been dating maybe not long when I started working there, when I was working there. And man, I have anxiety just thinking about this guy. Just drudging it up. Like Gage was sick one day and I left at lunchtime and I went and picked him up and I hid him under my desk because I didn't have any time to take off. And Tom was such a bear. He didn't give two shits about your kids, about your family, about anything that was happening in your life. And so I stopped and got medicine at CVS and brought him back and hid him, got blankets and stuff and hid him under my desk the whole day. And I had to scare him and make him make sure that he didn't make a peep when my boss came in the office. Man, that was scary. And when I quit, I actually reached out to the staffing company that placed me there, and I took a job. Remember, still a single mom, right? I took a job that paid $2.50 less an hour just to get the F out of there. Seriously, it was horrible. He was the worst human being on the planet that I've ever encountered to this day in my life. And the day that I quit, I carried things in bits and pieces. Like I didn't give a 2-week notice or anything. I was done because I had another job to go to. Um, I carried little bits and pieces from my office out to my car so it didn't look, anything like I was carrying a box or anything. And then I just left. And I left a note to the owner of the company, to the boss of the company, that they were horrible human beings for allowing someone like him to be over a bunch of women. It was, they were all scared of him. And who wants to go to work in fear every day? And maybe some of you are even doing that now. Maybe some of you have some serious bullying or whatever going on in your office. Because let me tell you something, working in an office full of women, it's like 13-year-old little bitches in there sometimes, and it's ridiculous. Everybody's in everybody's business, and ugh, it's just gross. I don't ever want to go back to that life again. Ever. So you know what I do so I don't have to go back to that life ever? I grind out the damn details when it's easier to shrug them off. I work from home now. I have to make myself work. I have to make myself do this podcast every day. Sometimes I like doing this, and sometimes I'm like, it's Monday. I got to come up with another podcast. I got to come up with something to talk about. And it's pressure, right? Nobody likes pressure. But guess what? I get to do this. I get to do this podcast. I would not have this opportunity if I did not do the 19 hard things it takes to be successful. I'm not saying it's easy every day. But if I get up and I do the things that I need to do, then I make the money to not have to go back into that environment, that kind of environment ever again for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm roughly like, I don't know, 15 years away from retirement. I can do this for another 15 years. Hell, I've already been doing it for 8. What's a little bit longer, right? To be able to stay home and have time freedom and work on my own schedule and not have to worry about making time up and not have to worry about somebody else and all these bitches and, all the things, right? And if you're one of those people that stirs the shit pot at work and makes it really difficult for other people at work, stop it. Stop being that person. Just be kind. That's all there is to it. So if you are in this kind of business, if you are struggling with what to do or how to do it, pick up the phone and ask for help. That's one of the biggest things. Your business does not depend, and I've said this a million times, your business does not depend on what your upline does or does not do. But there are plenty of people around you in your business that will help you. And I was talking to another girl today about that, because there was another girl that walked away and she was like, I just don't have help in my upline. So your business depends on you, not on your upline. And that girl could have reached out to any of us and we would be willing to help her. We do that all the time as a team, as a community of people. I mean, it was just an excuse for her, right? She wasn't successful with it. She didn't ask for help. And that's on her. That's not on her upline. That's not on her upline. That's on her. I can't do this for you if you're on my team, right? I can't do this for you. I can show you how it's done. I can give you the steps. But if you don't want to do it, you're not ever going to grow into anything. That's just a fact. So flip the script, because at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is living a few years like other people won't, so you can live the rest of your life like other people can't. Why is that not motivation enough to grind out the details when it's easier to shrug them off? Short term sacrifice, long term gain. I mean, This business is a legacy that I can leave to my kids one day. Have you thought about that? Like it will pass down through generations. The residual income that you build with this will pass down generations in your life. Man, I mean, that's huge. That's huge. You know, we're not in any financial debt aside from a car and a house and maybe, I don't know, $1,000 on a credit card maybe to keep our credit going. Do you know? I mean, is it worth doing what I do every day to be able to say that and feel that? Do you know that um most Americans are 50 to $80,000 in credit card debt? Do you know that most people are just working to pay off the interest of that? Do you know that making $1 million with a business like this is possible? So you don't have to struggle. I mean, that's what I don't get. I don't get it all the time. I have that conversation with people. I'm like, I can show you how to make money. Oh, I'm not good at that. Okay, so you already just threw it in the trash. I wasn't good at this either, but I learned it, right? We're all capable of learning. Or you hear, well, I don't have the money. Okay, well then we need to figure out a way to get the money. What do you have to sell? Like the first step of entrepreneurship is how to start your own business, is coming up with the money to start your own business. Well, the crazy thing is with us, it's only $50 a year to be a partner, right? And so I'm like, okay, $50 a year, and I got to buy a certain amount of product a month, right? Which is fine because that's covered because I have, new enrollments every month. But this works because I work it. The plan that we have with Xyngular works because I work it. I've kept the weight off because I work it. I don't make excuses. Okay, I lie. Sometimes I make excuses. Sometimes I sit and eat a whole box of Fruit Loops and it just happens, right? But I get back on track the next day. I haven't really eaten a whole box of Fruit Loops, but it felt like a whole box of Fruit Loops and I was really sick from eating that much. But it works because you work it. That's with anything in life. That's with anything you try to pursue. If you're into sports, if you're into your business, if you're into lifting weights, if you're into fitness and eating right and eating healthy and losing weight, as long as you work it, it works. And I can't stress that enough. And that works the same way, not even with the business, but I grind out the details when it's easier to shrug them off. Okay, so there's not much in the fridge for me to eat. So I can go grab a cookie out of the pantry, or I can scramble some eggs. Now, one takes more effort than the other for sure, but which one's better for me, right? I could just shrug it off and just go eat the damn cookie. But if I want to accomplish the goals that I want, then I'm going to go scramble some damn eggs. I mean, y'all, this is not a hard concept. I don't understand why people think this is so hard. It's all up here. The 4 inches between your ears is the biggest problem of your life because you tell yourself that you can't. So you have to flip the script and tell yourself that you can. You can do these 19 hard things to be successful, and you can be successful. And you can build your dreams. You just have to decide that you're going to do it. It's all about making a decision. It's not always the easiest decision to stick to, but my gosh, once you make that decision, I mean, here's the thing, kind of like, okay, let's say that you get baptized and you accept Jesus Christ as your savior. Do you stop? You just stop being a good person because you just don't feel like it one day? No, you don't. You just keep going. You just keep pushing forward. It's not about perfect. It's about the effort that you put in on a daily basis. That's where you see the changes. And that's in your daily life, in your spiritual life, in your physical life, in your struggles, in your business, the whole 9 yards. if you put it in, if you put the work in. I mean, they say that all the time, like AA and NA and all that. It works if you work it. It's so true. So anyway, go grind out the details. I know it's easier to shrug them off, but go grind them out because you can do it. And I totally believe in you. And if I can do this, anybody can do it. I promise you that. Peace out, homies. See y'all later. Bye.